Chapter 5: Autumn's Journey. The first signs of autumn welcomed Emma as she left Braunston behind. The morning air was crisp, carrying the unmistakable chill of the season's shift. Plum trees along the canal hung heavy with ripe fruit, and after a brief stop to gather some plums and essential supplies, Emma set off towards Atherstone via the Oxford Canal. Her heart felt light, filled with the anticipation of new discoveries. At Braunston Junction, she paused to take in the view. The meeting of the waterways was a reminder of the intricate system she was now part of. The Grand Union Canal stretched north, beckoning with its broader passage, but Emma's route led her along the more intimate Oxford Canal. Though its old, winding loops from centuries past had been straightened, remnants of the canal's long history remained visible, making her journey feel connected to the generations of boaters who had passed this way before. Her first significant challenge came at Hillmorton Locks, one of the busiest lock systems on the canal. These twin locks allowed two boats to pass through at the same time, and Emma found herself waiting patiently for her turn. She admired the rolling autumn landscape, with fields still holding the last traces of summer warmth. The scene reminded her of Jack, and the many stories he had shared about working these very locks years ago. In her mind, she could hear his steady voice talking her through each step. As she maneuvered serendipity into the lock, Emma felt a sense of calm focus. Each turn of the windlass, each sound of the lock gates creaking, became part of a rhythm she had come to love. It was in these small, repetitive tasks that Emma found both comfort and progress, as if each lock passed was a milestone in her personal journey. The cool breeze carried the scent of fallen leaves, mingling with the water's earthy fragrance, enhancing the peacefulness of the moment. By the time the sun began to set, Emma had found a quiet mooring spot along the canal. After securing serendipity, she prepared a simple meal from the day's fresh produce. As the light faded, casting a warm golden hue over the water, Emma sat back, sipping tea, and reflected on the day. The week ahead stretched out before her, full of promise, and she felt at ease, content in the simplicity of life aboard her boat. Midweek, Emma reached Hawkesbury Junction, where the Oxford and Coventry canals meet. The stop lock here, designed to regulate water levels between the canals, was almost effortless to pass through, as the difference in water height was minimal. Yet the place held a weight of history, a relic of the days when canal companies fiercely guarded their water supplies and territories. Emma couldn't help but imagine the hustle and competition of those times, now replaced by a serene and cooperative canal life. After mooring serendipity, Emma wandered into the nearby pub, a popular gathering place for fellow boaters. Inside, the murmur of quiet conversations mixed with the warmth of the fire, creating a welcoming atmosphere. Emma exchanged stories with other boaters, learning about their journeys, boat repairs, and upcoming festivals along the canals. It was in these moments that Emma realized how much she had become part of this unique community, a fluid, ever-changing family connected by the waterways. The following day, as she prepared to depart, a fuel boat glided into view. Emma smiled, waving at the operators who had become familiar faces on her route. They pulled alongside serendipity, offering her a chance to refill her diesel tank and stock up on coal as the days grew colder. Conversations with the fuel boat crew always brought news of the canal upcoming lock closures, local events, and which stretches of water to avoid due to recent repairs. As they continued their route, Emma felt reassured by the knowledge that the canals were full of people watching out for one another. Supplies replenished, she resumed her journey, moving through quieter stretches of the canal as the trees along the bank began to shed their leaves in earnest. The water mirrored the changing colors of the season: amber, gold, and deep red, reflecting the shift in both nature and Emma's own journey. She found herself pausing more frequently, allowing time to appreciate the stillness and solitude. The further she traveled from busier sections of the canal, the more she felt in tune with the rhythm of the water and the seasons. As the week drew to a close and Atherstone came into view, Emma's mind wandered to the changes she had experienced since leaving her old life behind. The slow, deliberate pace of canal life had given her the space to think, to reflect, and to grow. Each challenge she faced, whether navigating a lock or steering through tight sections of the canal, had become an opportunity to learn, not just about the waterways but about herself. The autumnal journey had mirrored her own transformation. Just as the trees shed their leaves, Emma had let go of her past, making room for something new. Her days on the canal had become more than a simple escape. They had become a path towards self-discovery. She no longer felt like she was running away from something but rather moving towards a life that suited her, a life where she could be present in the moment, connected to the nature and community around her. As serendipity glided towards her next mooring, Emma knew this journey was far from over. Each bend in the canal held the promise of new adventures, but for now, she was content. The canal had become her home, not just a physical space but a place where she had rediscovered herself. Emma moored serendipity for the night, the sun dipping low, casting a soft glow over the small market town of Atherstone. She smiled, knowing that this was exactly where she needed to be.